halt so. So to start this project off, I went to the thrift store to find some ugly sweaters that I could use for yarn, because I didn't want to buy new wool or synthetic. Found these two ponchos. Who could have guessed that it's what people don't actually use? So they are like in really good condition. But both of them are polyester, so I don't know if I want that or if I want to try to find some wool instead. But they're pretty cheap, and there's quite a lot of yarn in them, so it could be useful. And yeah, I don't think anyone else will buy them either to wear them like this. They're pretty ugly. So this is what it looks like, the sweater I ended up buying. So I'm gonna rip this apart and use the yarn. And it's like a 50-50 wool polyester blend. Yeah, I think it's matched the other yarns that I already had at home pretty well. So we'll see how far I get, and then I have to probably go out and buy more ugly sweaters. When I had succeeded at finding some yarn, I went to the yarn store and didn't buy yarn, but I bought some knitting needles and yeah, just admired the nice knitted sweaters. I did this swatch yesterday, and I started here, and I think it's a little bit too like see-through, like it's a little bit too whole, and then I tried to do it ribbed instead, and I kind of like that looks better. So then I thought maybe I need more instead of 4 like there is here. This part is accidentally 6, so this is not a see-through, and this is 5 yarns at the same time, like this. And here this part, I tried the ribbing. So first I tried with 5, but I think it's a little bit too bulky, and then I tried with 4 yarn threads at the same time, and it looks pretty good. So I think I will do this, and then I will do this, but a little bit smaller. I exchanged this to a size 10 instead of 12 that I was using, and then this is for the ribbing. This is what I thought I'd use as a reference, but I think I'm gonna want it like a little bit tighter here and maybe a little bit shorter possibly, and also like this one should go up a little bit higher, I think. So I'm just gonna make some changes and put some like safety pins, and then I will be able to measure. Okay, so something like this. So take away a little bit in the shoulder, so make it shorter, and also make the neck hole go a little bit higher up. So just put pins here. Then I put 1 pin here on the arm, so it's like a little bit tighter, but not too much. Then also down here. This is my new sample with the new size, and I'm just gonna measure like how many stitches will be, like how many centimeters basically. Let's say 7.3. And that will be 1, 2, 3. 7, 10, so 1, 2. We're gonna start with the first measurement, which is this, that is 44, but we want it to double, so we have a backside as well. We're doing it in the round, so we'll have 88 in total. We're gonna figuring out how many like stitches we're gonna put up for the rib one, and there's 15 stitches. divided by 7.3 and you get roughly 2 stitches per centimeters. So that will mean we have the 88 centimeters, which means that we will need 176 stitches. Okay, now I should have 176 stitches, and I just put safety pins every 40, so we have 40, 80, 120, 160, and then 16, the last bit over here. And now I'm just gonna start knitting basically and make sure it's not twisted. I'm gonna start with a knit stitch. And then purl, and then do every other the whole way around. I have knitted, let's say like a few rows, 4 or 5 maybe. And now the crucial moment is seeing if it's kind of the right size. So I put safety pins with 40 stitches in between each. So I just tried to stretch this one out so it's kind of flat, and then like bunch this up. And now I'm gonna measure it, and hopefully this will be 20 centimeters, because then I have more or less succeeded. Look at that. That is not bad. I think I will continue. I thought I was making it too loose, but this is quite promising. So I managed to seam rip one piece of the sweater away, so now I'm just trying to make it into a yarn again. Yeah, so I can use it. Tiff got me really scared because I thought she was carrying a bird in her mouth, but it was just a feather. You caught a feather, Tiffet? I think you're too slow to catch birds. Oh, you're so good. Damn. Yeah. So I just wanted to show the progress. I think I'm done with the rib now, so I'm gonna exchange thicker knitting needles. And I've started with yarn I already had at home, so I had this one, and then a small one that I'm like running out of. So I unraveled part of the sweater, which made this huge yarn. So I have knitted for quite a bit. So here's the rib down here, and it's more or less matching up with the markers I did. Maybe it's a little bit bigger. And then I've done with the 10mm, thank you, 10mm needles, the rest, and I've just gone up until I have 29 centimeters in total, because as my reference, now is when I'm gonna take in a little bit for the armhole and then knit straight up. So I'm just gonna find the two sides, and I'm gonna start like decreasing a few stitches on each side, or like knit off. Hello. Now I'm gonna start casting off, and I've done it on this side too for 6 of them. So I'm just gonna do the same on the opposite side. So I'm gonna knit one. now finally I've casted off 6 of them, basically. And now just knit like normal. I have been unraveling the other part, which has all these patterns. First I was pretty concerned that that will fuck it up, that I couldn't. But now when I've been at it for a long time, I finally have a thread that is just unraveling flawlessly. I'm very happy about this, because I need more yarn. So this is where I'm at, and I've been binding off with 3 needles at the same time. So this was very early in the morning, which also meant that I had to be pretty quiet because there was 2 people sleeping in the apartment, but I managed to finish the shoulders and it looked good, so I continued with picking up some stitches around the neck hole, which you can see me do here with a crochet hook, and then I just transfer them to knits for sock knitting needles. I don't know what they're called. And then you just continue for a while until you're happy with whatever length it is when it's folded. And then you bind off. And this I do with a crochet hook as well, because I just found it a little bit easier in general when you use this many yarns at the same time. So here I lost the audio, but I think I'm just admiring all the loose ends that I've accomplished. It will take forever, but yeah, I guess that's the price you have to pay to be able to upcycle material. You could also just use the longer strips of yarn that you're able to unravel and not. I try to use as much as possible, so then some of them are pretty short. On the other side it's not as bad. There's a few here, a few over here, and then I've just finished the neck and weaved all of the loose ends in, so it won't show on the right side. So I'm just gonna fold this one down, then stitch it together, and then start on the sleeves. Eventually someone could buy these secondhand and use them, but I also thought for ease for myself to be able to unravel very quickly, and also they were on sale, so here it says like €4, but they were half off, so it's €2 each, and I think this will make me have enough yarn for the sleeves. I mean, watching this gives me so much satisfaction, don't you? Like, it's just so nice. I finally figured out how to add stitches without it looking bad, so it's creating this kind of V shape now. I'm just adding 2 stitches every time, but yeah, this is the first try and it's kind of like too slim here. I thought it was gonna poof out more after I changed the needle size, but apparently not. So I'm just gonna show, and also like the rib is a little bit too tight, I think. So it looks like this. I want more poof, yeah, in the middle. So I'm gonna rip this one up and then start again. So I have another one here that is more the right shape, I guess. Here I'm checking myself out in the mirror again, but this time with the sleeve attached. I think it looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Before I finished it off, I've just done some loose basting stitches to see if the sleeve will fit the shoulder. So now I'm gonna take these out and I will finish off the shoulder because yeah, the needles are still in. This was just to be able to try it out. I just made this part and I'm pretty happy with it. I had to redo it one time because I did some mistakes. So now it looks better. So now I have written down everything I made on this sleeve so I can make the other one exactly the same. And I also made these kind of V shapes here, which I'm pretty happy about. It looks nice. And the other sleeve, I just put on the same amount of stitches and then I made it 20 rows high, which is about 8 centimeters, I would say. Now I'm just gonna use the big boys, the big needles, and yeah, continue on these ones and then just follow my own instructions, I guess.
Ryan Little.
So I'm not gonna lie, this part is pretty tricky, but I managed to make these Mickey Mouse ears and in that sense just like shuffle the stitches around until I was able to go around a few laps and could expand because I was adding a few stitches now and then. I'm not sure if I will be able to explain this well, but I will try my best. Otherwise, I will just link the video that I used in the description. Basically, I want to add a stitch, or two actually, because I'm doing the rib and otherwise it will throw it off. Now I'm on row 7, so I'm gonna take out 2 again. So I'm doing a normal knit stitch and I'm keeping it on, and then I'm going behind here, taking 1 more stitch, boop, keeping it on, and then doing 1 more stitch in the front. And this one is a little bit tricky because of the big needles, but there we go. Haha. I take 1 stitch off so I can move the marker so it will be in the middle. And I want to try to keep it pretty tight because otherwise you will get like a small hole basically. So the one I'm doing afterwards, I'm like making sure to kind of tighten it. I've had quite a few problems with my memory on my phone, so I haven't been able to finish the project because I couldn't film it and I wanted the last part to be in the video, so it's a little bit problematic because I'm excited to finish it up. But this is how far I've gotten on the sleeve, and here I'm just doing the exact same thing as I did at the armhole, that I bind off a certain amount, and I think it's 15 here instead of 6. And then I've done every time in the end and in the start of a row, I will knit 2 together. So I will decrease by one. Yeah, so decrease by 2 basically, one on each side for each row. And I keep track with this kind of note. So this is the rows, and then left and right. And then I just tick them off as I go. And there will always be like left and then left again, because you turn around, and then right again, and so on. So now this is what I have left. Row 74, right left, 75, left right, and then 76. I'm gonna knit 2 together on the right side, and then I'm gonna cast off, and the last one I'm also gonna knit together, and then I will be done, I think. So I'm gonna do a more organized version of this, and it will be a link in the description so you can download it and follow along with it. So here you can see that I'm in the start of a row, and usually if I'm with the outside facing me, I like to, when I knit them together, I like to do a knit stitch, just because it becomes a little bit more flat, in my opinion. And also because these needles are huge, I found it easier to use a crochet hook. So I'm just grabbing that yarn, pulling it through 2 of them, and then I will go back to my knitting needle and I will pull them off, and then I will tighten them as much as it is possible, and then I will knit as normal. So now it will be a purl stitch, and then I will also remember to tick this one off. So I've done a decrease on the right side, and this I like keep track of. So if I have this one with the arch of the shoulder facing against me, this is the right side, and then when I come to this side it will be the left side, just to keep track where I am. So here I am at the last 2 of the row, and I do the same thing. I want to knit them together, and I'm gonna do a knit stitch because it's on the out facing side. And I'm doing it with a crochet hook again because it's a lot easier, especially because I'm using multiple yarns at the same time. I'm using 4 of them because, yeah, so it's very easy for them to split up and that some of the fibers don't catch on the needle and whatever. So yeah, pull that one tight, and then I will flip my work around like so. So now the inside is facing me. I will also tick off so I can keep track. So this is the left. Now I'm gonna do a left decrease again. And here, because I'm facing the inside, I want to do a purl. So I'm using the crochet hook again, putting the yarn on the front, putting the crochet hook in underneath, 2 of them. And then it could be easier if you like twist it around a little bit to hook it on. Here, the same thing. We're gonna bind off on the right side. And here I want to do a purl again because I'm on the inside. I mean, you don't have to do this. I just thought maybe it will reduce the bulk a little bit on the front. And I insert my crocheting hook. I wrap this one around to make it easier. Then I twist the crocheting hook downwards in towards the needle and then pull it through, like so. And then I can transfer it to the other knitting needle and then I will tighten it. Okay, now it's exciting. Now it's the last row. So we done the right decrease. We turn the work around one last time, and I'm starting with a decrease again. So here, because it's the front, I'm gonna do, these ones are so twisty, a knit stitch. So put the crochet hook through both of them, put the yarn on the hook, twist the hook towards the needle, and then pull it through. So now it's time to bind off. And what I do is I do one more stitch, and then I find it also like easier to use. You can use the knit or like the needles, but I find it just easier with a crochet hook when they're this big. And then you pull it over. Whoop. And you do another one. And then you insert the crochet hook in the first stitch that you've made, and you pull it on top of the other one. So the other one should be kept on the needle like this. So we have two more, and we're gonna cast off, or like knit two together one more time before we cast off the last one. So here I want to do a knit stitch. So pull my crochet hook in here, grab the yarn, pull it through, put it on the other needle, and then we bind off the last stitch on the sweater, which is very exciting. I mean, it's quite a lot left, so it's not maybe time to celebrate yet. What I have left is to like stitch everything together, which will take some time, and also weave in all the loose ends. But yeah, this is what it looks like with the cast off. This is my last stitch, so I'm just gonna put it through to end the sleeve. Like so. So now I have my two sleeves and I have my body. And actually I'm gonna go ahead and wash these, I think, because I didn't wash anything that came from the thrift store, and also because it gets all like crinkly, waffly when you unravel it. It kind of shows in the knit as well, like so I think if I wash it, it will even itself out a little bit and relax the yarn. But I will point out that if you knit with 100% wool, you have to be extremely careful and maybe hand wash instead. Look up how to do it, because otherwise it will shrink. This is a 50% mix with synthetics and wool. So I think it will be fine, and I will do it on the wool program on my washing machine, and also with wool detergent, which is really important. So I will do that now and see how much it shrinks. I thought it would be fun to do like a before shot before I wash it. And hopefully I won't destroy it. I will be careful. These are pretty wet. I'm gonna put out a towel so they can dry in that over the night. My sweater finally dried. It have taken like 3 days, I think, and I had to change towels multiple times just so it can like pull out some more water when it's this thick. As you can see here, I have already attached one of the sleeves, so I'm gonna show you how to do the other side. I've also stabilized the shoulder so it won't stretch anymore because it's stitched with like a rib, the whole thing, or knit with a rib. The shoulders will stretch out a lot, and then I will have a really long sleeve, which is not really what I want. And you can see like how much longer this one is when it's not stabilized. So this is how much it stretches, and it can even stretch more. This one is pretty stiff. I will find the middle of this one. Yeah, this middle row is the middle of the sleeve, and then I will match it up with shoulder seam. I'm using safety pins, but if you have these like placeholders, I think that would be better because they are not as sharp, so they can't like damage the yarn. And then you want to pin it along in a few different places. And I start with the center top and then the center bottom of the sleeve, which for me is the last V. You can see here there's like one in the middle, so that one is my middle. I will choose, so now I'm connecting these two. From this point here to this point, I'm gonna just grab them and lay them out so they are parallel to each other. Then I would try to take like a midpoint, attach it. That way you can distribute it more evenly. I think I did on the last sleeve 2 in between each of these.
Ryan Little.
Okay, so something like this basically, and see that it's more or less even in between, so it's not like bumpy or something. And then I will start stitching. What you want to do is line up so your safety pins are more or less straight, and then you gonna go over to the other side, and you will not pick the edge, but you will pick here 2 of these like small legs, and you pull it. So you go straight across and try to not go like too crooked, I guess. And then you pick up on this side. So I'm gonna pick up these 2 legs. And then you can tighten it as you go a little bit, like not too much of course, but you want the seam to not show. closing in on the end now. I'm just gonna do this small opening here, and then I think actually I will use the seam thread because I have quite a lot left to stabilize the shoulder because it's very stretchy right now. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And with this as well, I will link the videos that I used to get the information how to do these techniques. And I think that will make it easier for you as well because it's actual tutorials. If I would make this a proper tutorial, I would probably not make it in black because it's difficult to see what the fuck I'm doing. Okay, I think that's it. Now I'm just gonna pull this one to the inside, and then we're gonna start on the shoulder. So it's pretty simple. I will work my way on one side at a time, and I will just put this one, I will go through it and then pull one loop through. And what I did, because I wanted to shrink a little bit, I actually went every 2 of them, I think, like this. Pull one more through, then pull them through each other, and this creates this chain link. So here, because I've taken this one, I don't do that one, but I do this one over here. Pull it through, then pull this one through the old one. And if you know how to crochet, this is probably pretty easy for you. So now I'm in this one, I don't do this one, and I take the next one over here. Okay, so now I've done one side, and now I'm gonna move over to the other side. So I'm gonna turn this around. Yeah, this is what it looks like. So I've secured it in both sides, and I'm gonna compare it to the other side, see, so I don't made it too tight. I thought I'd show you how to secure the ends because I've done most of them, but I have some left. So usually there's 2 ends in the same place, and I like to cross them over, so secure this end in this one and then this end in this one. So here I just have one end left. I'll just thread it onto my knitting needle, or I guess it's not a knitting needle, but it's a needle for knitting. And then I just get underneath one of these to get to this ribbed panel and put it through. Preferably I like to go upwards, so I don't just kind of weave the needle through these loops. So you go through one and you go from the outside in, kind of. And I usually do 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I pull it through. Then I go across, so underneath 2 of these. And then I do the same thing, but in the other direction. So I weave through. Oop. So it's 5, and then 6. And then I pull it through, and then I pull a little bit on the weave just so it lays nice, and then I cut this end off. almost the last step. I mean, I still have threads I need to secure, but I'm gonna fold the mock neck inwards and attach it to the seam. And I'm using the leftover from when I was binding off. And I think I will try to fold this over and attach it with safety pins first, just so the ribs line up. Don't want to offset them. What I'm doing is that I'm picking up one of them here, and then I'm going like diagonally over on the inside. Whoop. And tighten it. And then I'm going straight up from this one to this one, lining the stripes up from the rib. And then I'm going to the next one. And yeah, this is what it looks like. It's pretty good, I think.